Okay, so just want to shoot this video really quickly for you guys to go over some of the top apps that I currently use in my day-to-day. Now, the reason why I'm shooting this video is because I know a lot of you guys have been waiting to see something like this for a little while now. And I can tell because in one of my past stories, very recently, I think it must have been a day or two ago, I just posted on my stories asking what types of videos you guys wanted to see in the next coming weeks. And a lot of you guys seem to respond by saying that you guys wanted to see a video going through all the apps that I'm using, pretty much how I stay productive, how I keep track of certain things, how I plan out certain things. So without further ado, let's get into some of the top systems that I'm currently using. So number one is definitely my 2019 planner that I have right in front of me right now. You should be seeing it on the screen. And the reason why I like to use this over things like, purely like iCalendar or Evernote or Trello or any of those combinations is one of the things that this thing does that the others can't do is the fact that you can actually highlight specific weeks. You can have a very high level bird's eye view. So for example, with this one, I highlighted these next 2 weeks, the 7th all the way throughout to the 20th. Solely for refining the outreach process for my agency. So that's going to be my main focus. Now, that being said, obviously you can still get down to the monthly level as well as a daily level. And as you can see on the monthly level, today, the 6th, shooting YouTube content is top priority for you guys, for myself, followed by social media marketing agency outreach, followed by affiliate review videos, and then followed by the little self-taught Japanese at the end of the day. So you can actually even add like little small to-do tasks. For example, if you're having like lunch with a friend, or if you need to commute somewhere, like you can add those small to-dos. Like, I don't know, for example, if you need to drop off something at the post office, those are all small to-dos. And then the main task, you want to go ahead and put it here. So if you guys are using some sort of scheduler like this, or you're planning to build it out, I would highly recommend organizing it in this manner. That way you know exactly, okay, like these are the highest priority. I need to complete these first before I move on to the small to-do. So very self-explanatory. Even on the today level, you can see that I only really plan out the most important tasks for the day. These are the top 2 like highest IPAs or income producing activities. And then everything else, to be honest, I don't really even like to like plan it out, because at that point, not only is it afternoon and have I completed all these, most important tasks, but also I know that a lot of these smaller tasks do tend to get rescheduled around. For example, with coaching, that already gets automatically scheduled into my iCalendar regardless, via Acuity scheduling, which I'll get into in a moment. But even things like the smaller task, I really don't have as much control over that, and that might fluctuate from 4 o'clock. Maybe I run late and then it's 4:30, or maybe I get it done early. I just don't really like to move stuff around on that level. So I just like to keep my pretty much like my top couple tasks very early in the day. I just plan out this section, and then usually anything after noon or after 1 o'clock, I just don't put on this, because most of it's going to get booked into my iCalendar anyway. So I don't really tend to worry about that. And then as for Acuity scheduling, this is actually my personal scheduler. This is where everything, pretty much, if you want to book a call with me, if you want any sort of like my time, then this is usually where you'll go through. Now, for this one, let's just go to, for example, my discovery call scheduler. This is actually for some of my e-commerce prospects. So let's say that we, as an e-commerce prospect of mine, you want to book in as, or we want to book in as a 4:30, right? And then from here, obviously, you're going to have to fill in your name, phone number, email, followed by all of this information here. This is just my discovery application. So this is one of the reasons why I love using Acuity, is because you can actually ask, like, you can have like a small intake form. You can ask like questions with drop downs, with text boxes and stuff like that. So that way I can actually vet people to see if, it's worth my time hopping on a call with them. If not, then I'll let them know, hey, it's not going to work out. It's not a win-win situation. So it's very easy for me to actually screen certain people to see if we should actually even hop on a coaching call in the first place, which saves, to be honest, it saves a ton of my time, and it makes sure that I'm not just hopping on 30, 45-minute calls with just anyone and everyone, right? So it's very, very good to set a standard for yourself and to screen certain people out of your scheduler. So yeah, this is the main function of Acuity. Like I said, it auto books into iCalendar, and also it leaves me reminders 30 minutes out, and then I also set it for 10 minutes out, so that way I don't forget. Now for the availability, it's very, very cool because it also updates according to what you put into iCalendar. So whether you manually put in, at a 5 o'clock spot, for example, on a Monday, if, for example, here, if I put in that I have a coaching call, or, if it's auto booked already through Acuity, it's just going to reflect on your schedule as well. So for example, if at 5 o'clock I say, okay, it's a bit late to have a coffee, but let's assume, okay, like 5 to 6, I'm actually having dinner with someone. So on that Monday, let's say, my availability switches from 4 to 6 to only 4 to 5 or maybe 4 to 4:30 because, factoring in travel time from 5 to 6, I have to have dinner with someone. So it's actually going to reevaluate. And then by the time you actually go on to the scheduler itself, the changes are going to reflect. So it's going to say, instead of 4 to 6, 8 to 9, it's going to say 5, 5:30, and then obviously 8:30, and then, or 8 and 8:30, because, assuming that these discovery calls are 30 minutes, those intervals are going to reflect according to, what new changes your iCalendar has. And it happens very, very quickly. So you don't have to worry about any sort of delay with, you scheduling something and then, one of your prospects or your coaching students scheduling something else and then it conflicting. So never really happens, but I just like to use it because it's so convenient. So yeah, like I said, those are my two main apps that I use for planning my time out. Now, as for some of the other extensions, briefly, I'm just going to run you guys through something called Loom. So this is actually very, very, very useful. You can actually instantly or almost instantly export like long form videos to, if you're sending it to like, your team or to coaching students or to prospects, whatever that might be, for whatever purpose, it exports really, really quickly, and it's in the form of a link. So that way you don't have to like record with another screen recording software and then edit it and then put it into Premiere Pro and then export it, etc. It doesn't take that long. You don't have to upload it to YouTube or anything like that. It's just a link. It's a shareable link, and then you can view the video almost immediately. So very, very cool. You can actually optionally add on your front-facing camera on your laptop as well. So very, very convenient. Next, you have DFTube. So what that does is just block out my YouTube to make sure that I'm not, constantly bombarded with distractions. And it also removes this sidebar, like the suggested videos on the right-hand side. Another one is, even on Facebook, I have one of these. It just prevents unnecessary scrolling. And as you can see, it's actually replaced by a nice quote. And let's see, DFTube, we got that done. Facebook News Feed Eradicator, we're done as well. And that's pretty much it for the browser extensions and the scheduling. Now let's hop onto a couple of the apps that I have on my phone, as well as, for example, Mint, which tracks finances. So first and foremost, Flux is an app that I actually use on my laptop as well. For my phone, if you guys have like an iPhone or something like that, you can always just do, I forget what mode it's called. Let me hop onto my settings really quickly. I just want to get the name for you guys. So display and brightness, night shift. It's called night shift. So if you're on your phone, you can turn on night shift to make sure that you make your screen temperature more warm as the evening progresses. Same idea with Flux. It just makes your screen more yellow, so that by the time it gets closer to your bedtime, you're more in the mode of sleep rather than constantly being exposed to blue light and having your sleep disturbed in that regard. So very, very useful. It's more for like a health purpose than anything. Next, we have Mint. That actually allows me to track my finances in depth. It shows me my income, my spending, my trends, where I tend to spend my money the most, where my income sources tend to be the most, etc. When I usually get my payments coming through. Very, very useful for that type of analysis. Now, I just want to warn you guys beforehand, it does take a little while to set up, especially when you're syncing your bank accounts and your PayPal and whatever other payment processor that you're using. So, you do want to set up a good chunk of time to, get that all sorted. But regardless, I would still recommend having this just because the analysis is very, very valuable. Now, sometimes you're going to need to manually categorize a transaction, which is one of the downsides of the app, because sometimes, it might not be able to tell whether you're transferring from, for example, PayPal to your bank account. Sometimes it can't really tell, but that's something that just can't really be helped. So you're going to have to sometimes manually categorize. You're going to have to switch the category from income to, I think it's like transfer or something like that. So you just got to make sure you let the software know, and then so that way they don't double count. They don't double count like money coming in. Let's say you got $500 coming in on your PayPal. Once you transfer it over to your bank account, it doesn't double count that 500. So yeah, that's just a kind of forewarning. But overall, I would still highly, highly recommend it, just because, like I said, like analysis of your finances is very, very crucial, especially if you want to make sure you're not spending unnecessary money on trivial stuff. So that's, I found that it's very, very useful in that regard. Next, we're jumping down to Alarmy. It's very, very good for heavy sleepers. And I know that on certain days, I really just don't want to get up out of my bed in the morning. But I know that as soon as I get out of my bed, it all goes up. It all goes, I guess the saying is it all goes uphill. Not uphill in regards to difficulty. Actually, it goes downhill in regards to difficulty, uphill in terms of, I guess, overall progress. But yeah, I know that getting out of bed is like the biggest step I have to take. After I get out of bed, I really don't like. I wouldn't crawl back into bed, right? So I know that like just getting me conscious is like the first part, and Alarmy does a very, very good job of that. Just because if you're using your regular alarm on your iPhone or something like that, like oftentimes that not only isn't it not loud enough, but it also like it doesn't have any sort of mission for you to accomplish. So with Alarmy, you can get up, you can have it, have you stand up and scan a barcode. You can have it, make the mission like shake the phone like 30 times or something like that, or like solve like math problems, which obviously you're not going to be able to do if you're not conscious. So yeah, very, very important tool in my arsenal, just because I want to make sure that I'm getting up at regular times. It can be very, very annoying or persistent or loud, but it's all the more incentive to go ahead and turn it off ASAP. So very, very useful. Next, we have the app Calm. So for me personally, it's my favorite meditation app. I prefer it way more than Headspace, just because it has more of the vibe that I'm going for. And I guess that's just personal preference. But I've tried and tested both for extensive periods of time, and I just seem to like Calm a lot more. Next, we have Strides, which is all my daily goal tracking all in one place. So I track income, I track meditation minutes, I track sleep, I track all of that like on a daily basis, and I actually have it set reminders every single day at 7 p.m. to actually fill out, whether or not I did this bad habit, for example, or whether or not I made a specific amount of money today. It also sets up like projected, for example, if you're tracking income, it's going to set up projected income. So for example, if today you made 100, tomorrow you made 300, you tracked both days. Obviously, both days you made 400 divided by 2. It takes the average basically. So you're on average, you're making $200 a day. 200 times 365. What is that? That's a little less than 100,000. So it's going to project that you're going to be below the 100K mark for the rest of the year. Now, obviously, this is average if you were to continue making money as you did in the past. So it really, really lets you know whether or not you're on track to hit a specific goal, which is very, very important in my opinion. And it also shows different streaks. So for example, if you're on a 10-day meditation streak for 5 minutes a day, it's going to encourage you. It's going to let you know. And obviously, if you break the streak, it's going to be like a really ugly red color. So very, very important in my opinion in making sure that you're doing certain things consistently. Next, very, very self-explanatory. Simple Invoices is just auto invoicing for all my retainer clients. And then lastly, the Motive app itself. All it does is syncs with my Motive ring to track sleep and other various types of health data, such as, estimated number of steps walked, estimated, even like breathing and sleeping patterns, heart rate, etc. I just, I actually value that type of information. So if you guys are into like sort of like biohacking, or you're into, peak performance, especially if you want like a very, very discreet and accurate way to track your sleep, because one thing that I noticed is that it is a lot more accurate than, for example, an app on your phone that tracks your sleep, because that usually does it through audio, or a combination between audio and your movement, which a phone isn't really that good at doing. And for someone like me, especially since I sleep with like a white noise machine on in the background, that just helps me fall asleep a lot quicker. Since I do that, like it can't really hear my breathing or movement too much if I were to use a phone app on my phone. And that's one of the reasons why I actually went out and actually grabbed a ring instead, is because it's not using the phone to track your sleep. It's actually using the ring itself. And the ring inside has like built-in sensors, so that, it's actually like, it touches the surface of your, of one of your fingers. So, it's like infinitely more accurate than just using your phone to track that type of data. So very, very valuable in my opinion. And that kind of concludes my small list. Like I said, this is not like, by any means is this like all of the different apps that I use. These are just the most important ones in my opinion. And it's a good mix of finances, productivity, goal setting, planning, etc. So yeah, I would highly, highly recommend picking up each and every single one of these different apps, so that you have a repeatable system for pretty much every aspect of your life. Now, if you guys have any other questions regarding these apps, go ahead, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'll respond to every single one of your questions. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you guys have any additional video ideas, or if you have anything specific you want to see, whether that be video on like Facebook ads walkthroughs, or client acquisition or outreach or whatever it is. Just let me know and I'll do my best to go ahead and shoot that for you guys. So yeah, as I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Take it easy, guys. It is a Sunday by the time I'm filming this, so hope you guys enjoy your Sunday or whatever day it is for you guys. And yeah, see you in the next one.